In 2022, author Colleen Hoover outsold the Bible. Her most popular book, It Ends With Us, sold 4 million copies and has now been adapted into a film starring Blake Lively. The novel and the movie claim to offer a modern morality tale about domestic abuse, and the press tour has raised plenty of questions about the right way to promote a story where love and violence coexist.
But what's this story really telling us about passion, romance, and desire? And can It Ends With Us and other stories like it be damaging to the way teenagers understand sex and relationships?
To answer these questions, let's get started by taking a look at Colleen Hoover's origin story. It starts with BookTok.
Colleen Hoover's biggest fans, #cohorts, exist within a bigger fandom universe called BookTok. BookTok was originally just the name for the community of readers on TikTok, and it gained traction as a digital space where people could share book recommendations and participate in trends like "What trope are you?" and "Who's your fictional crush?"
Go. Mine says Nikolai Lantsov. Shut up. Yeah.
Just like Instagram's #Bookstagram and Tumblr's BookBlur, BookTok acted as an online space for avid readers of all stripes.
Over the last few years, though, BookTok has become a community that primarily celebrates stories with some element of romance. Unfortunately, BookTok's favorite books often conflate love with violent sex, promiscuous behavior, and toxic relationships.
BookTok has also become infamous for being uncomfortably and unapologetically sexual, and encourages women to be unabashed in their love for steamy, lust-driven narratives.
When you're scrolling through TikTok and find a popular post by an attractive young man, you might even see comments like "BookTok has been summoned," alongside a variety of suggestive emojis.
There are also likely to be comments so overtly sexual, we won't even show them. The BookTok girlies are here is online shorthand for "this guy is about to get objectified, whether he wants to be or not."
Some authors try to balance their steamy scenes with plots, like author Sarah J. Maas, whose wildly popular A Court of Thorns and Roses series focuses on the romantic relationships of sexy fairies and their X-rated exploits.
Then there are others like Penelope Douglas and Anna Huang, who write books with so much graphic sexual content, they're sometimes described with the famous fan fiction tag, #plot. What plot?
Many of these writers go beyond simple romance plots and expand into additional genres like thriller, fantasy, horror, or historical fiction. No matter where these books fall on the genre spectrum, if they graphically depict sex between the characters, readers call them smut, celebrating the label as something empowering and fun.
Even though readers may believe that smut is very different from pornography, in some ways they are two parts of the same moral issue. Porn and smut content both exploit sexual desire.
According to the nonprofit Fight the New Drug, growing up in today's porn culture, girls quickly learn that they are service stations for male gratification and pleasure. Smut content may encourage women not just to absorb this pressure, but to expect it, echo it, and maybe even revel in it. Smut brings the implications of pornography into your conversations, to your social media feeds, to your local library, to your book club.
Glorifying sex as the primary vehicle for women's liberation and self-actualization is the opposite of seeing our bodies as sanctified vessels belonging to a holy God. Some studies have found that engaging with porn fractures relationships for both men and women.
And while both genders engage with porn, consuming pornographic content specifically affects how women are seen and how they see themselves.
When women read steamy romance novels and objectify men as lust objects, they may think they have turned the tables. But have they really found more freedom than they've had before?
While explicit content in smut novels is problematic, the way the romance is framed in these books might be even worse. BookTok loves to throw around the phrases morally gray love interest and dark romance, which portray the edgy and the dangerous as the pinnacle of passion.
And since BookTok has become a powerful tastemaker that suggests what teens should be reading, this perspective of love is now actively shaping what young women expect in relationships.
BookTokers will hold up copies of books about teachers preying on students, women staying in relationships out of fear for their lives, and murderers stalking victims until they agree to be with them, and ask the camera, with complete sincerity, "Where can I find a man like this?" Well, ideally, jail.
The female characters BookTok loves will often excuse the flaws of these male leads, justifying their actions and treating anyone who tries to hold their man accountable as the enemy. They don't just wear rose-colored glasses, they have rose-colored LASIK. And they can also be cruel, unfair, and manipulative in their own right.
Even when a male character in these novels is a good guy, superficial factors like wealth, status, and being attractive often make up his entire personality.
This emphasis on the superficial is where It Ends With Us the novel and It Ends With Us the movie share a problem at their heart. Lily is portrayed as a heroine for forgoing passion in favor of safety and for ending a cycle of generational abuse. Now, most people would agree that leaving an abusive relationship is a good thing, but healing from abuse takes time and effort.
At the end of It Ends With Us, Lily's personal growth and healing is unseen, glossed over, and equated with swapping one handsome and wealthy soulmate for another. It's a superficial solution to a complex problem.
And it also reinforces an idea common in BookTok, that a woman's power is limited to the way she chooses to behave as a sexual being. This, combined with its surface-level approach to domestic abuse, is the very thing that created a media firestorm surrounding the film's promotion.
Because love can feel tricky to identify, especially when we want it, think we have it, or are scared of losing it, we should return to what the Bible says about love. Paul spells it out for the church in 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres.
Love doesn't harm someone on purpose. It doesn't abuse, it doesn't attack, it doesn't destroy. That is a valid standard for a romantic relationship. People are imperfect, but that doesn't give anyone a free pass to actively do damage to anyone, including the ones they claim to love.
The rest of 1 Corinthians 13 talks about what love, capital L love, is. Love is more persuasive than intelligence. It's more sacrificial than good works. It's more spiritual than prophecy. In fact, without love, all those things become useless at best and harmful at worst.
We are people who are desperate to be loved. But love isn't vengeful, lust-driven, and faithless. Love is holy and beautiful. To find the only thing that will meet our craving and let it rest, we have to go to a source that is holy and beautiful, the God who created and is love. Thanks for watching. Here are a couple of questions to help keep the conversation going. Can you think of an example of a healthy relationship in a book or a movie? How would you define real love?
At Axis, we rely on donor support to continue to make videos just like this one. If you'd like to give a gift of support or check out more resources, you can go to axis.org.